The sun hung low over the sprawling city of Lagos, casting golden hues across the rooftops as Malik Thompson gazed out of the airplane window. His heart pounded with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Moving to Texas felt like stepping into a different world, a chance at a better life his mother had promised. But as the plane touched down, Malik couldn't shake the nervous flutter in his stomach. "Welcome to America," his mother said with a warm smile, squeezing his hand. "This is our new beginning." Malik nodded, clutching his soccer ball tightly. Soccer had always been his escape, his passion. Back in Lagos, he spent every free moment on the field, weaving through defenders and dreaming of becoming a professional player. Now, in this unfamiliar place, the ball felt like the only piece of home he had left. Their new town in Texas was small and quiet, a stark contrast to the bustling streets of Lagos. As they settled into their modest apartment, Malik explored the neighborhood, noting the wide streets, neatly trimmed lawns, and towering American flags fluttering in the breeze. Everything felt foreign. Even the air smelled different. The first day of school arrived quickly. Dressed in a crisp shirt and jeans, Malik stood in front of the mirror, practicing his English. "Hello, I'm Malik. Nice to meet you." His accent was thick, but his words were clear. "You'll do great," his mother reassured him as she adjusted his backpack. "Remember, you're strong, you're smart, and you belong here." Malik smiled, taking her words to heart. But as he stepped onto the school bus, the weight of uncertainty returned. The other kids stared, their whispers loud enough for him to hear. "Who's the new kid? Where's he from? Africa?" Malik kept his head down, clutching his soccer ball tighter. The journey to school felt endless, each whisper chipping away at his confidence. In class, the teacher introduced him to the students. "Class, this is Malik Thompson. He's new to our school, so let's make him feel welcome." A few students smiled politely, but most just stared. Malik took his seat, hoping to blend in. But at lunch, the whispers turned to laughter. "Hey, Malik," a boy called out, mimicking his accent. "Do you eat bugs in Africa?" Laughter erupted from the table. Malik's cheeks burned, but he said nothing. He focused on his food, ignoring the taunts. After school, Malik headed to the empty field behind their apartment complex. He kicked his soccer ball, weaving through imaginary defenders, his mind drifting back to the fields of Lagos. Here, with the ball at his feet, he felt at peace. But his peace was short-lived. A group of boys approached, led by a tall, broad-shouldered boy named Ethan Parker. Ethan was the school's star athlete, and he exuded confidence. "Hey, new kid," Ethan called out. "What's that?" He pointed to the soccer ball. "It's my ball," Malik said quietly. Ethan smirked. "Soccer? That's not a real sport. This is America. We play football here." The other boys laughed. Ethan grabbed the ball from Malik's hands, tossing it to one of his friends. "Please," Malik said, his voice trembling. "Give it back." Ethan ignored him. "You want it back? Go get it." He kicked the ball hard, sending it sailing into a nearby ditch. The boys laughed as they walked away, leaving Malik standing alone, tears welling in his eyes. Malik retrieved the ball, mud caked on its surface. He held it close, fighting back tears. The weight of isolation and homesickness pressed down on him, but he refused to break. As he walked back home, his mother's words echoed in his mind. "You're strong. You're smart. You belong here." But at that moment, all Malik could feel was the sting of loneliness. That night, as he lay in bed, Malik stared at the ceiling, his thoughts racing. He missed Lagos. He missed the familiar sounds, the warmth of the sun on his face, and the laughter of his friends. But most of all, he missed feeling like he belonged. Tomorrow will be better, he told himself, clutching his soccer ball. It has to be. But deep down, Malik knew that fitting in would be the hardest game he'd ever played. Cliffhanger. The next day, Malik returns to school, determined to hold his head high. But as he walks through the hallway, Ethan and his friends surround him once more, their laughter echoing off the walls. "Welcome to America, Malik," Ethan sneers. "You'll never fit in here." Malik stood frozen in the middle of the school hallway as Ethan's taunting words echoed in his mind. "Welcome to America, Malik. You'll never fit in here." The laughter of Ethan's friends rang in his ears as they walked away, leaving Malik standing alone, clutching his backpack tightly. He could feel the stares of other students lingering on him. His heart pounded in his chest, but he kept his head high, refusing to let them see how much their words hurt. He made his way to class, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. Every step he took felt heavier, as if the weight of isolation grew with each passing second. The dream he had of making friends and starting fresh seemed to be slipping further away with every encounter. The first few weeks at school were rough. Malik spent most of his time alone, navigating the hallways in silence and sitting by himself at lunch. The few times he tried to join a conversation, he was met with awkward glances and dismissive remarks. During gym class, things didn't get any easier. Malik loved sports, but the games played in Texas were unfamiliar to him. He watched from the sidelines as his classmates played American football, their shouts and laughter filling the field. One day, after watching from afar for too long, Malik decided to ask if he could join. "Hey, can I play?" he asked, stepping forward with a hopeful smile. The boys turned to look at him. Ethan, standing in the middle of the group, crossed his arms. "You want to play football?" he said, emphasizing the word with a mocking tone. "Yes," Malik said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I'm good at sports." Ethan exchanged glances with his friends before smirking. "Sorry, but we're full." The other boys laughed, and Malik's face burned with embarrassment. As they turned back to their game, Malik walked away, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. That evening, Malik sat at the kitchen table, his soccer ball resting beside him. His mother, exhausted from her long shift at the hospital, noticed his troubled expression. "Malik, what's wrong?" she asked gently, sitting down across from him. Malik shrugged, staring at the ball. "I don't fit in here, Mama. The kids don't like me. They make fun of my accent, my skin, everything. They won't even let me play sports with them." His mother reached out and took his hand. "I know it's hard, my boy, but you're strong. You've always been strong." Malik looked up, his eyes filled with frustration. "I don't feel strong. I feel alone." His mother squeezed his hand. "When we left Legos, I promised you a better life. That doesn't mean it would be easy. But remember, you are more than what they see. You have a gift. Soccer is your passion. Let it be your voice." Malik nodded slowly, her words sinking in. His mother was right. Soccer had always been his escape, his way of expressing himself when words failed. The next day, after school, Malik made his way to an empty field near his apartment complex. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the grass. With his soccer ball at his feet, Malik began to play. He dribbled the ball with precision, weaving through imaginary defenders, the familiar rhythm calming his mind. Every kick, every touch reminded him of the streets of Lagos, where soccer brought people together. Unbeknownst to Malik, someone was watching. Coach Bradley, the high school soccer coach, had noticed Malik's dedication. He stood at a distance, arms crossed, observing the boy's skill with growing interest. "Interesting," Coach Bradley murmured to himself. "The kid's got talent." As Malik finished his practice session, panting from exertion, Coach Bradley approached him. "Hey there," the coach called out, making Malik turn in surprise. "You've got some serious skills." Malik blinked, unsure how to respond. "Thank you, sir." Coach Bradley smiled. "I'm the soccer coach at the high school. How come I've never seen you at tryouts?" Malik looked down, embarrassed. "I didn't know there was a team." "Well, there is. And I think you should come to the next tryout." Malik's eyes widened with excitement. "Really? You think I can join?" "I don't think. I know," Coach Bradley said firmly. "You've got talent, Malik. All you need is a chance to show it. For the first time since arriving in Texas, Malik felt a spark of hope. Cliffhanger. As Malik walks home, a smile playing on his lips, he hears a voice call out from behind him. You think joining the soccer team will change anything? It's Ethan, standing with his arms crossed. You'll never be one of us. Malik squares his shoulders, determination replacing doubt. I don't need to be one of you. I just need to be me. The sun was high in the sky as Malik approached the high school soccer field for tryouts. His heart raced with a mix of excitement and nerves. He clutched his soccer ball tightly, his mind replaying Coach Bradley's words from the day before. All you need is a chance to show it. As he reached the field, Malik saw a group of boys warming up. They moved with practiced ease, laughing and chatting as they passed the ball to one another. Malik felt a pang of anxiety. Would they accept him? Or would this be another place where he was treated as an outsider? Coach Bradley spotted him and waved him over. Malik, glad you made it. Grab a bib and join the drills. Malik nodded, pulling on a yellow practice bib. He jogged to the center of the field, feeling the stares of the other players. Among them was Ethan Parker, the star player and the boy who had made Malik's life miserable since his arrival in Texas. Ethan narrowed his eyes as Malik joined the group. So, you actually showed up? He sneered. Didn't think you had it in you. Malik met his gaze, refusing to back down. I'm here to play. That's all that matters. Coach Bradley blew his whistle, cutting through the tension. All right, boys, let's see what you've got. We'll start with passing drills. The players lined up, pairing off to pass the ball back and forth. Malik paired with a boy named Sam, who offered a friendly smile. I'm Sam, he said. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Malik replied, relieved to find someone welcoming. As they began the drill, Malik's skill quickly became apparent. His passes were sharp and accurate, his footwork smooth and controlled. Even Sam looked impressed. Where'd you learn to play like that? Sam asked. Back home in Lagos, Malik said with a smile. Soccer is everything there. The drills continued, and Malik excelled at each one. His speed, agility, and precision set him apart from the other players. But despite his performance, Ethan remained hostile. During a scrimmage match, Ethan made a point of targeting Malik, bumping him off the ball and making snide comments. Nice move, rookie, Ethan muttered after a particularly rough tackle. Too bad it won't help you fit in. Malik clenched his jaw, determined not to let Ethan get under his skin. He focused on the game, letting his feet do the talking. As the scrimmage progressed, Malik's confidence grew. He dribbled past defenders with ease, weaving through the opposition like he was back on the streets of Lagos. Then came his moment. Coach Bradley called for the final play of the match. The score was tied, and the next goal would decide the winner. Sam passed the ball to Malik, who took off down the field. Ethan charged toward him, but Malik didn't falter. With a quick flick of his foot, he sidestepped Ethan, leaving him stumbling in his wake. The goal was in sight. Malik took a deep breath, steadied himself, and struck the ball with precision. It soared past the goalkeeper and into the net. The field erupted with cheers. Malik's teammates swarmed him, patting him on the back and shouting congratulations. For the first time since arriving in Texas, Malik felt like he belonged. Coach Bradley blew his whistle, signaling the end of the tryout. He approached Malik with a broad smile. You've got talent, kid, the coach said. Welcome to the team. Malik beamed with pride. Thank you, coach. As the players began to disperse, Ethan lingered behind. He approached Malik, his expression cold. Don't think this changes anything, Ethan said. You'll never take my spot. Malik met his gaze unshaken. I'm not here to take anyone's spot. I'm here to play. Ethan scoffed, walking away. But Malik didn't care. He had earned his place on the team, and nothing Ethan said could take that away from him. That night, Malik returned home, his heart lighter than it had been in weeks. His mother greeted him at the door, a look of concern on her face. How was tryouts? She asked. Malik grinned. "I made the team." His mother's face lit up with pride. "I knew you would. I'm so proud of you, Malik." They sat together at the kitchen table, sharing a quiet meal. For the first time since moving to Texas, Malik felt hopeful about the future. As he lay in bed that night, Malik thought about the road ahead. He knew there would be challenges, but he also knew he was ready to face them. "I'm not going anywhere," he whispered to himself. "This is just the beginning." The harsh words scrawled on Malik's locker echoed in his mind as he stood frozen in front of it. "Go back to Africa." The cruel message was unmistakable, and it felt like a punch to the gut. Around him, students passed by, some casting sympathetic glances, others laughing quietly. Malik took a deep breath, trying to steady his racing heart. He couldn't let this break him. Coach Bradley noticed a graffiti when he walked by the locker. His expression darkened with anger. "Malik, come with me," he said firmly. In the coach's office, Bradley sat across from Malik, his eyes filled with concern. "Do you know who did this?" Malik shook his head. "No, sir, but I have a guess." Coach Bradley sighed. "I'll talk to the principal. We'll get it taken down, and whoever did it will face consequences." Malik nodded, but he knew the damage was already done. The message wasn't just on his locker. It was a reminder that he was still seen as an outsider. That afternoon, the soccer team gathered for practice. The atmosphere was tense, and Malik felt the weight of the graffiti incident hanging over him. As they warmed up, Ethan Parker kept his distance, his gaze cold and calculating. Coach Bradley gathered the team. "We have a big game coming up this weekend. I expect every one of you to give it your all. And that includes you, Malik." Malik straightened, determined to prove himself on the field. This was his chance to show that he belonged, no matter what anyone said. During scrimmage, Malik's focus was razor-sharp. He dribbled past defenders with ease, his footwork precise and controlled. His teammates couldn't help but be impressed, even if some of them still harbored resentment. As the game progressed, Ethan deliberately targeted Malik, going in for hard tackles and shoving him off the ball. But Malik refused to be intimidated. He got up each time, dusted himself off, and kept playing. Finally, during the last play of practice, Malik saw an opening. He sprinted down the field, his speed unmatched. Sam passed him the ball, and with a swift, powerful kick, Malik sent it soaring into the net. The whistle blew, and the field fell silent for a moment before erupting in cheers. Malik's teammates swarmed him, clapping him on the back. "Nice shot, Malik," Sam called out. Even Coach Bradley couldn't hide his grin. "That's how you do it. Great work, everyone." As the team dispersed, Ethan approached Malik. His expression was unreadable, but his words dripped with bitterness. "You might have scored today," Ethan said, "but you'll never be one of us." Malik met his gaze head-on. "I don't need to be one of you. I just need to be me." The weekend game arrived, and the stands were packed with students, parents, and local fans. Malik could feel the energy buzzing through the air as he stood on the sidelines, waiting for his turn to play. The game started off rough. The opposing team was aggressive, and the score remained tied for most of the first half. Coach Bradley paced the sidelines, shouting instructions and encouragement. Finally, in the second half, Coach turned to Malik. "You're up. Let's see what you've got." Malik stepped onto the field, his heart pounding. He glanced at the crowd, spotting his mother in the stands, her face filled with pride and hope. He clenched his fists, determined not to let her down. The moment Malik got the ball, everything else faded away. His instincts took over, and he moved with grace and precision, weaving through defenders like they weren't even there. The crowd began to chant his name. "Go, Malik! Go!" With only minutes left on the clock, Malik saw his chance. He dodged one last defender and lined up his shot. The ball sailed through the air, past the goalkeeper and into the net. The crowd erupted in cheers. Malik's teammates rushed to him, lifting him into the air as they celebrated the winning goal. Malik, Malik, Malik. For the first time since arriving in Texas, Malik felt like a hero. After the game, Malik walked through the school hallway, his head held high. But as he approached his locker, he froze. Another message had been scrawled across it. "We're watching you." Malik's heart sank, but he squared his shoulders. He wasn't going to let fear control him. He had come too far to back down now. Cliffhanger. As Malik turns to leave, he hears footsteps behind him. He turns to see Ethan standing there, a conflicted look on his face. "We need to talk," Ethan says. The tension between Malik and Ethan had been simmering for weeks, but now, standing face to face in the hallway, it felt ready to boil over. Ethan's words hung in the air. "We need to talk," he repeated. Malik crossed his arms, his expression guarded. "About what?" Ethan glanced around to make sure no one was listening. His usual arrogance seemed muted, replaced by something Malik couldn't quite read. "Not here. Meet me at the field after practice." Malik hesitated, but curiosity got the better of him. "Fine. After practice." Malik walked to the soccer field, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the grass. Ethan was already there, pacing near the goalpost. He stopped when he saw Malik approaching. "Why did you want to talk?" Malik asked, keeping his distance. Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Look, I've been a jerk. I know that." Malik raised an eyebrow. "That's an understatement." "I guess I've been threatened by you," Ethan admitted, his voice low. "You came in out of nowhere and started taking the spotlight. I've worked hard to be the best, and suddenly, you're here making me look bad." Malik's anger softened slightly. "I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to play. That's it." Ethan kicked the dirt, frustration evident in his posture. "It's not just about soccer. It's everything. My dad's been putting pressure on me to be the best, to get a scholarship. And then there's all this other stuff." He waved a hand vaguely. "The things people say about you. It wasn't right." Malik's jaw tightened. "You mean the racist graffiti?" Ethan nodded, shame flickering across his face. "I didn't do it, but I know who did. And I didn't stop them. I'm sorry." For a moment, Malik said nothing. He stared at Ethan, weighing his words. Apologies were easy, but change was harder. "I don't need your apology," Malik finally said. "I need your respect." Ethan met his gaze. "You've got it." The next day, Malik walked through the halls with a renewed sense of purpose. Word had spread about his conversation with Ethan, and the atmosphere at school felt different. There were still whispers and sideways glances, but there was also a growing sense of curiosity and admiration. During lunch, Sam joined Malik at his table. "I heard about what Ethan said." "That took guts." Malik shrugged. "It's a start." Sam grinned. "Well, you've got my respect too. And most of the teams." Malik felt a surge of hope. Maybe things were starting to change. But that hope was tested later that week. As Malik walked home from practice, he noticed a car following him. At first, he thought it was a coincidence. But when the car slowed to a crawl, his heart began to race. The windows were tinted, and he couldn't see who was inside. He quickened his pace, turning down a side street. The car followed. Malik's mind raced. He reached for his phone, but before he could call anyone, the car sped up and pulled alongside him. The window rolled down, revealing a man he didn't recognize. "Hey, kid," the man called out. "You think you're better than us? You think you can come here and change things?" Malik didn't respond. He kept walking, his pulse pounding in his ears. The man laughed. "Watch your back, Thompson. People around here don't like troublemakers." The car sped off, leaving Malik standing on the sidewalk, shaken but resolute. He knew this fight wasn't just about soccer. It was about standing up to a system that wanted to keep him down. That night, Malik sat with his mother at the kitchen table, recounting what had happened. Her face was etched with worry. "Malik, this is dangerous. Maybe we should talk to the police." Malik shook his head. "The police won't help." They'll say it's just a prank or a misunderstanding. His mother reached across the table, taking his hand. I'm proud of you, my boy, but I don't want to lose you. Promise me you'll be careful. I will, Malik said, but I won't give up. I can't. The next day at practice, Coach Bradley called the team together. Listen up, everyone. We've got a tournament coming up, and I need every one of you to give it your best. That includes you, Malik. Malik stood tall, nodding. I'm ready, Coach. As the team broke into drills, Ethan approached Malik. Hey, Ethan said. I meant what I said. I've got your back now. Malik smiled. Thanks. Let's show them what we can do. The air was thick with anticipation as the day of the tournament finally arrived. Malik sat quietly on the team bus, headphones on, lost in thought. The anonymous letter from his locker still haunted him, but he refused to let it break his focus. Today wasn't just about winning a game. It was about proving that he belonged. Ethan sat beside him, breaking the silence. You ready? Malik nodded. Yeah. Are you? Ethan chuckled. I've been ready for this my whole life. But I have to admit, having you on the team makes me feel more confident. Let's make this count. Malik offered a small smile. For the first time, there was no animosity in Ethan's voice, just camaraderie. It was a change Malik hadn't expected, but he welcomed it. The team arrived at the stadium, greeted by a crowd of cheering students and parents. Banners with the school's name waved in the stands, and the energy was electric. Malik's mother stood near the front, her face radiant with pride. Seeing her gave Malik an extra surge of determination. Coach Bradley gathered the team in a huddle. All right, boys, we've worked hard to get here. Let's show them what we're made of. Remember, we play as a team. No egos, no grudges. Just heart. The players cheered, breaking the huddle with renewed energy. As the game began, the opposing team quickly showed they were no pushovers. They played aggressively, trying to dominate the field with physicality. Malik, however, was undeterred. His footwork and speed left defenders scrambling, and his precise passes created scoring opportunities for his teammates. Ethan scored the first goal, a powerful header that sent the crowd into a frenzy. He ran back to Malik, clapping him on the back. Great assist, Thompson. Malik grinned. Let's get another. But not everyone was thrilled with Malik's performance. As the game progressed, Malik noticed one of the opposing players, a tall defender with a menacing glare, targeting him. Every time Malik got the ball, the defender closed in with rough tackles and whispered insults. You don't belong here, the player sneered after one particularly hard shove. Malik picked himself up, refusing to engage. He focused on the game, letting his feet do the talking, and when the opportunity came, he seized it. In the second half, with the score tied, Malik saw an opening. He sprinted down the field, weaving past defenders with ease. Ethan called for the ball, but Malik saw a better chance. He faked a pass, dodged the last defender, and struck the ball with precision. The net rippled as the ball hit home. The crowd erupted, chanting Malik's name. Malik, Malik, Malik. His teammates swarmed him, lifting him off the ground. Even Ethan couldn't hide his excitement. That was incredible. Malik's heart swelled with pride. He had done it. He had proved himself. After the game, as the team celebrated their victory, a group of college scouts approached Coach Bradley. They exchanged a few words before turning to Malik. Malik Thompson? One of the scouts asked. Yes, sir, Malik replied, his nerves kicking in. We've been watching you. You've got real potential. We'd like to discuss future opportunities. Malik's eyes widened. Thank you. I'd love that. The scout handed him a card. Keep up the hard work. You've got a bright future ahead. As the scouts walked away, Ethan approached Malik, a sheepish smile on his face. Looks like you're going places. Malik shrugged. I'm just getting started. Ethan extended his hand. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. For everything. Malik stared at the offered hand for a moment before shaking it. Respect isn't given. It's earned. Ethan nodded. I'll keep earning it. The ride back to school was filled with laughter and celebrations. Malik sat by the window, watching the landscape pass by, feeling lighter than he had in months. When they arrived at school, Malik found another letter in his locker. His heart sank, expecting another hateful message. But when he opened it, his eyes widened in surprise. We were wrong about you. Keep proving us wrong. Malik smiled, crumpling the note in his hand. The tide was turning. Change was happening. The following weeks passed in a blur of practice sessions, homework, and growing recognition. Malik's performance on the field had turned him into a local sensation, and his story began spreading throughout the community. More than just a talented soccer player, Malik had become a symbol of perseverance, resilience, and hope. One morning, as Malik walked through the school hallway, he noticed students nodding at him in acknowledgement. Some even greeted him by name. It felt strange, but it was a welcome change from the hostile stares he had grown used to. At lunch, Sam joined him at the table. Have you seen this? He asked, sliding a printed article toward Malik. It was from the local newspaper, featuring a photo of Malik mid-game with the headline, Rising Star. Malik Thompson inspires change on and off the field. Malik scanned the article, feeling a mix of pride and disbelief. The story highlighted his journey from Lagos to Texas, his struggles with bullying, and his rise to become one of the team's most valuable players. They're calling you a hero, Sam said with a grin. Malik shook his head. I'm just a kid who loves soccer. Maybe, Sam said, but you've done more than most people would. Later that day, Coach Bradley called Malik into his office. I've got some news for you, the coach said, a proud smile on his face. The college scouts you met at the tournament, they've reached out again. They want to offer you a scholarship. Malik's eyes widened. A scholarship? Really? Coach Bradley nodded. It's still early, but they see potential in you. And honestly, so do I. Malik felt his heart soar. The idea of playing soccer at a collegiate level had always been a dream, but now it was within reach. Thank you, Coach, Malik said, his voice filled with emotion. You've earned it, Coach Bradley replied. But remember, this is just the beginning. Stay humble, stay focused, and keep working hard. The news of the scholarship offer spread quickly, and it wasn't long before Ethan approached Malik again. This time, there was no hint of animosity or jealousy in his expression. Congrats on the scholarship, Ethan said, offering a genuine smile. You deserve it. Thanks, Ethan, Malik replied. It means a lot. There was a brief pause before Ethan spoke again. I also wanted to apologize again for everything. I was wrong about you. Malik considered his words carefully. Apologies are a start, but actions matter more. Ethan nodded. I know. I'm trying to be better. Malik smiled. That's all anyone can do. The final game of the season was a defining moment for the team. The stands were packed, the atmosphere electric. Malik led the team onto the field as their captain, a role he had earned through hard work and determination. Throughout the game, Malik played with unwavering focus. He scored twice, assisted Ethan on a third goal, and led the team to a decisive victory. As the final whistle blew, the crowd erupted in cheers, chanting Malik's name. Malik, Malik, Malik. As he stood in the center of the field, soaking in the moment, Malik spotted his mother in the crowd. She was clapping, tears of pride streaming down her face. After the game, Malik was approached by several younger kids who had been watching from the sidelines. One boy, no older than 8, looked up at him with wide eyes. Do you think we can be like you one day? The boy asked. Malik knelt down, meeting the boy's gaze. You can be better. Just keep believing, keep working hard, and never give up. The boy beamed, holding up a soccer ball. Will you sign this? Malik chuckled, taking the ball and signing his name. Of course. Months later, Malik stood on the stage at his school's graduation ceremony. He had been chosen to deliver the closing speech, a testament to how far he had come since his arrival in Texas. As he looked out at the crowd, he took a deep breath and began. When I first came here, I didn't know if I would ever fit in. I was scared, lonely, and unsure of my place in this new world. But I learned something important. Belonging isn't about where you're from or what you look like. It's about who you are and what you stand for. He paused, letting his words sink in. I stand for perseverance. I stand for kindness. And I stand for believing in yourself, even when others try to tear you down. Because no matter where you come from, your dreams are valid. Your voice matters. And your actions can inspire change. The crowd erupted in applause, and Malik felt a wave of emotion wash over him. As he stepped off the stage, Ethan was waiting for him. You did good, Malik, Ethan said, clapping him on the back. Really good. Malik smiled. Thanks, Ethan. And thank you for changing. Ethan grinned. Respect earned, right? Exactly. The story of Malik Thompson became a legend in their small town. He went on to accept a scholarship and play soccer at the collegiate level, eventually joining a major European club. But he never forgot where he came from or the lessons he learned along the way. Years later, Malik returned to his hometown to speak at his old school. Standing in front of a new generation of students, he shared his story of resilience. They tried to silence me. They tried to break me. But I found my voice, and I let my feet do the talking. No matter where you come from, no matter what they say, keep pushing, keep believing, and never stop chasing your dreams. The students cheered, inspired by the boy who had once been an outsider and had become a hero. As Malik walked off the stage, a soccer ball with his name on it was passed through the crowd, a symbol of hope and perseverance. The silent cry of a boy from Lagos had turned into a roar heard around the world. Years passed, and Malik Thompson's name became synonymous with resilience and success. His journey from a young boy in Lagos to a soccer star in Europe inspired countless people around the world. But despite the fame, Malik never forgot his roots or the struggles that shaped him. One sunny afternoon, Malik stood on the edge of the same soccer field where his journey in Texas had begun. The grass was freshly cut, and the goalposts gleamed in the light. He watched as a new generation of kids kicked a ball around, their laughter echoing through the air. It brought back memories of his own early days, when soccer was his escape and his voice. The town of Liberty had changed, too. The community was more inclusive, and the lessons from Malik's story had taken root. The high school now had a diversity council, and students were taught about the importance of empathy and respect. Malik's impact had gone far beyond the soccer field. As Malik walked toward the group of kids, one of them spotted him and froze, wide-eyed. Is that Malik Thompson? Another boy gasped. It is. He's back. The kids rushed toward him, chattering excitedly. Malik knelt to their level, smiling warmly. You guys play soccer here often. Every day, one of the boys exclaimed. We want to be just like you. Malik chuckled. Well, I have a secret to share with you. The key isn't to be like me. It's to be the best version of yourself. The kids listened intently as Malik continued. Work hard, be kind, and never give up. And remember, no one can take away your dreams unless you let them. One girl held out a soccer ball. Can you sign this? Malik took the ball and signed his name, adding a message, believe in yourself. Later that evening, Malik attended a special ceremony at the high school. The school had renamed the soccer field in his honor, the Malik Thompson Field of Dreams. A plaque near the entrance read, in honor of Malik Thompson, who showed us that perseverance and kindness can change the world. As Malik stood before the crowd, he felt a deep sense of gratitude. His mother was there, her eyes shining with pride. Ethan stood beside her, now a mentor to younger players and a community leader. Taking the stage, Malik addressed the audience. When I first came here, I didn't know what the future held. I was scared and unsure, but I learned that fear doesn't define us. Our actions do. He paused, looking out at the familiar faces. We all have the power to inspire change. It starts with standing up for what's right, treating others with kindness, and believing in ourselves. Because no matter where you come from, no matter the challenges you face, you can rise above them. You can achieve greatness. The crowd erupted into applause, and Malik stepped down from the stage. As he walked through the crowd, he saw old friends and new faces, all united by a shared belief in hope and perseverance. Back on the field, Malik took a moment to himself. He stood at the center circle, the place where his journey had truly begun. The stars sparkled above, and the night air was filled with the distant sounds of laughter and life. His phone buzzed with a message from his agent. "Big game next week. Ready to make history?" Malik smiled, typing a quick reply. "Always." As he pocketed his phone, Malik looked up at the stars and whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning." The road ahead was long, but Malik Thompson was ready for it. He had found his voice, his purpose, and his place in the world. And now, he was determined to help others find theirs. With one last glance at the field, Malik walked off into the night, his heart full of hope and his mind set on the future.